Okay, so today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty cool and I think, honestly, kind of fun.
Hmm.
It's these animal archetypes, right? Like using animals as a way to think about how people act and interact.
Yeah.
And we've got some great research on this, specifically on four of them: the lion, T-Rex, mouse, and monkey.
Right, right.
And we're going to break down all those, like, what each one's all about, the good and the bad, the whole nine yards.
Absolutely.
So basically, by the end of this, you're going to have this, like, super memorable way to understand yourself and everyone around you.
I love that. A shortcut to get people.
Yeah.
And, what I think is really neat is that it helps us move beyond all that complicated psychological jargon
All right.
and just use these really vivid, relatable animal personalities
Totally.
as a way to, like, quickly recognize those different styles we see out there and, how they can play out for better or worse.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. First up, the lion. What's the core essence of the lion?
The lion, all right, so really it's about control.
Right.
The lion archetype is all about control.
Okay.
They're the leaders, the decisive ones, very goal-oriented, super direct in how they communicate.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of positives there, for
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
It connects really well to that, like, ruler archetype you see in branding.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The one who wants to create order, establish their dominance.
Right. Makes sense.
But the key thing, the real insight with the lion, is remembering that real leadership,
Yeah.
it's not just about giving orders, it's got to have empathy too.
Oh, for sure.
Because if a lion just charges ahead without considering others,
Yeah, yeah.
well, they risk becoming a bit too much.
Yeah.
Like
Overbearing.
overbearing, dictatorial even.
Right.
And then you're crossing over into that negative, like, bully archetype.
Oh, interesting.
Or even what alchemists called the green lion, which was,
A green lion.
yeah, it represented basically this untamed ego running wild.
Wow. Okay, so lions, they can be great leaders, but they got to keep that ego in check.
Exactly. It's all about balance.
Okay, cool. So how about the T-Rex then? What's the main takeaway with them with that kind of confrontational style?
All right, so the T-Rex, they're all about being frank, forthright, definitely not afraid of a challenge, very much like the warrior archetype in that sense.
Okay.
Willing to fight for what they believe in, which can be a great thing.
Sure.
But, and this is the crucial insight,
Yeah.
you can be direct, even challenging, without being a jerk about it.
Right.
It's that directness without empathy that can quickly turn into aggression.
Makes sense.
And that just shuts down collaboration, right?
Yeah. Nobody wants to work with a raging T-Rex.
Exactly. So a constructive T-Rex, they channel that strong energy into honest feedback, maybe a little tough love, but not just blunt criticism.
Okay.
Because that kind of stuff, it just feels like an attack.
Yeah.
It can even make them seem like the shadow side of that warrior archetype.
Oh, interesting.
Or even like a negative orphan archetype, all alone, isolated.
Wow, I never thought about it like that. That's a good point.
It's about being direct, but not destructive.
Right, makes sense. Okay, so we've had the lion, the T-Rex. Now let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum, the mouse.
Okay.
What's the key insight there?
So the mouse, they embody what we call, like, capitulate.
Capitulate, okay.
They're modest, humble, patient, great listeners.
Yeah.
Which are all fantastic qualities, right?
Oh, absolutely.
In fact, there's even research linking mouse-like online behavior
Really?
to higher levels of, like, conscientiousness, agreeableness, openness to experience,
Wow.
and lower neuroticism, which is pretty cool.
That is cool. So being a mouse online is a good thing.
Well, it can be, but here's the thing, the crucial insight.
Yeah.
While listening is so important, always capitulating, it can lead to your own needs being overlooked.
Yeah. Right, you can get walked all over.
Exactly. So a healthy mouse, they find that balance, right?
Okay.
They learn to listen, but also to assert their needs respectfully.
Yeah.
Rather than just becoming, like, totally disengaged or submissive.
Right.
Which, unfortunately, can look a lot like the shadow side of the child archetype. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's about being heard, even if you're not the loudest one in the room.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, last but not least, the monkey. What's the central idea with them?
The monkey. So they're all about cooperation, being social, adaptable, amazing communicators. Really very much like that jester archetype, bringing people together.
Okay.
And that could be a huge strength, right?
Yeah.
That ability to connect.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the real key insight here is that without focus, all that social energy can actually undermine their reliability.
Oh, interesting.
So an effective monkey, they channel that energy into action, and they make sure to follow through, so they don't become like unpredictable or constantly seeking attention.
Like the negative side of being the life of the party.
Right, or like that negative trickster archetype where it's all fun and games until someone gets hurt.
Yeah, yeah. Or making choices just to please people, not because it's what they truly want.
Exactly. That need for approval can be a dangerous thing.
So with the monkey, it's finding that sweet spot between like connecting with people and staying focused on what matters.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. So it's really fascinating how all these tendencies like play out in different ways.
Oh, yeah.
But it's important to remember, we're not saying everyone fits perfectly into one category, right?
No, definitely not.
It's not like we're putting people in these little boxes, are we?
Not at all.
Like someone might be a lion at work, but a total mouse at home, right?
Exactly. These are just tendencies, points on a spectrum,
Okay, right.
And how they express themselves, whether it's positive or negative, depends on the situation.
Yeah, totally.
Some people are more adaptive, some more maladaptive. And then,
Yeah.
sometimes you get stuck in these negative loops
Yeah,
where different archetypes clash, and it just brings out the worst in everyone.
right, right. So it's all about being aware of these tendencies, but not like oversimplifying things.
Exactly.
Okay, now this isn't just some fun, animal metaphors though, is it?
No, not at all.
There's like real psychological theory behind this stuff, right?
Oh, absolutely. Tons of it. This whole framework, it actually aligns really well with something called Leary's interpersonal circumplex.
Leary's interpersonal what now?
Circumplex. It's a mouthful, I know.
Okay, so what is that?
Basically, it's this model that maps out how people behave
Yeah.
based on two main dimensions, dominance and affiliation.
Dominance and affiliation.
Yeah. So dominance is like, how much control someone tries to have, and affiliation is how warm and friendly they are.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So if you think about it, the lion would be high dominance, moderate warmth. The T-Rex, high dominance, low warmth.
Right.
The mouse, low dominance, moderate warmth. And a monkey, moderate dominance, high warmth.
Oh, wow. That's actually really clever how that all fits together.
Yeah, right. And it also ties into all sorts of other cool concepts like rapport building.
Rapport building. Okay.
Yeah, those HERE principles. Honesty, empathy, autonomy, and reflection.
Oh, right.
Which are all about connecting with people authentically.
Yeah.
And then there's even connections to Jungian archetypes, which are like these universal patterns of behavior found across cultures.
Oh, wow. So this goes even deeper than just the animals. It's about like fundamental human nature.
Exactly. It's about understanding ourselves on a really deep level.
That's amazing. So let's bring it back down to earth for a second. How does all this actually help people in their everyday lives?
Well, for starters, it boosts your self-awareness,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
You see your own communication patterns more clearly, which is huge.
Yeah, and it helps you understand other people better, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you understand where someone's coming from, you can adapt your approach.
Right. So, like, if you're dealing with a lion, you know not to be all passive and mousy. You got to stand your ground.
Exactly. And if it's a T-Rex, maybe dial back the confrontation a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Find that middle ground.
Right. And it's incredibly helpful for understanding team dynamics.
Oh, for sure.
Identifying everyone's strengths, potential conflicts, coming up with strategies for better conflict resolution.
Yeah.
It's a super valuable tool for like leaders, managers, anyone working in teams.
Okay. So it's helpful at work. What about in like personal relationships?
Oh, totally. It can help you understand those like recurring dynamics, why you keep clashing with certain people or why certain relationships feel so easy.
Right. Like maybe you're a mouse and your partner's a lion and you keep getting steamrolled.
Exactly. Or maybe you're both monkeys and you just have too much fun to get anything done.
Right. It gives you a new way to look at things, which is really cool.
And it's not just about understanding, it's about growth too.
Oh, yeah.
Once you see your own tendencies, you can start working on them.
Right. Like if you're a T-Rex, you can work on being more empathetic, less confrontational.
Exactly. It's a tool for personal development, and it can be used in so many areas of life.
Wow, that's amazing. So basically, knowing your animal archetype can help you in all sorts of ways, from your career to your relationships.
Absolutely. It's a powerful tool.
But of course, we got to be careful not to take this too far,
Oh,
right?
yeah, definitely.
It's easy to fall into the trap of, like, stereotyping people, like,
Wow.
assuming that every lion is a bossy jerk or every monkey is a flaky party animal.
Yeah, we got to remember that everyone is an individual,
Exactly.
and there's so much more to a person than just their archetype.
Right, it's just one piece of the puzzle.
And, how people act can change depending on the situation, their mood, all sorts of things.
Yeah, yeah, we're all complex creatures with
Yeah.
all these different sides to us.
Exactly. And cultural interpretations of these animal symbols can be different, too.
Oh, that's a good point.
So it's important to be mindful, not to jump to conclusions.
Right, use this as a framework, a starting point for understanding, but don't get too rigid with it.
Absolutely. It's about being aware of the complexity and the fluidity of human behavior.
Okay, that's really important to remember. So, to recap, we've looked at the lion, all about control,
Mhm.
the T-Rex, confrontation, the mouse, capitulation, and the monkey, cooperation. It's
Right.
like this, shorthand way of understanding how people tend to behave.
Exactly.
And it's based in real psychology, so it's not just some fluffy, self-help stuff.
Yeah, it's got real substance to it.
Now, here's something I want you to think about. Like, really consider
Right.
which of these archetypes do you think resonates most with you?
Hmm.
Like, in your everyday life, at work, in your relationships, which one do you identify with the most?
That's a great question.
And how might understanding these archetypes change how you approach things?
Yeah, like how you interact with people, how you deal with conflict, how you see yourself.
Exactly. And what happens when different archetypes clash
Oh, that's interesting.
or when they collaborate? How does that dynamic play out in your world?
Yeah, those are really important questions to think about.
Because once you start seeing these patterns, it can really change how you navigate your life.
It's like having a new lens to view the world through,
Exactly. And that's what this deep dive is all about.
giving you new tools to understand yourself and everyone around you.
And maybe even have a little fun with it along the way.
Absolutely. Who doesn't love talking about animals?
All right, so that's it for today's deep dive. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.